Oh, are you okay?
I had too much coffee.
Oh my god. Yeah, you had like 4 cups. Did I smear eyeshadow down my nose? I did. All right, well, it's a good thing we're going back in with concealer, so great. Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be doing the 10th installment of our What's Good series, which we haven't done one in a really long time, but anyway, today we're going to be focusing on Patrick Ta Beauty. This is a brand that is obviously available on his website and then also available at Sephora. Patrick Ta is one of the leading artists in the makeup industry today. He's obviously also Asian American, so of course we want to celebrate his brand. And so today we're going to be talking about almost everything in his line and how I feel about it. We'll go through exactly what I like, what I don't like, best ways to apply, etc., etc. The first product we're going to talk about is the Creme Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. I have this in the shade Light Medium 2. Now, this product I actually did do a full review on, and so you can actually find that on my channel, and I'll actually go ahead and link that in the description box below. From a cream foundation perspective, this is actually not too bad. It is more medium coverage, can be built up, but my issues with this product was more about the fact that, like, the lasting power of this cream foundation is not something that like I generally look for. And I'll be totally honest with you guys, like with cream foundations, like it's not like I sit here and I expect them to have the same longevity as a liquid foundation, because I just don't think that they're really like comparable, and really I haven't found anyone who can actually create a cream foundation that lasts a really long time. So this is not an item that I would ever envision myself repurchasing. But what I do like this for is I do think it's a pretty decent touch-up product. So if you are someone that likes to bring a compact with you and you like to bring like a little kabuki brush or something like that, and if you notice that your foundation is starting to just patch in little places, this could be something that you could bring along with you. And then again, because it does come with like the powder as well, you have the ability to set everything down. So the powder I have definitely talked about before. I do not like this powder underneath my eyes. I feel like this really accentuates like my fine lines. It's just not really a good look. So I like this finishing powder for more of like a spot touch up where I can just set down a few areas on my face. In general, this is not a product that I would repurchase from the Patrick Ta line, but if you're looking for something that you want to just bring with you as like a touch-up product, I could see this having its like uses. So I've already filled in my brows with an eyebrow pen. I'm now going to apply the Patrick Ta Major Brow Lamination Gel. Now this is something that I would say this is a great product if you are someone who has like a thinner brow, like someone who has like really thin hairs for all of your brows. I think this would do a really wonderful job keeping your brows in place. For me, I tend to need something that's just a little bit more capable of keeping things in place. On the right side, after I've applied the gel, you can see that my hairs are doing a decent job of standing up. However, I don't necessarily feel like they stay in place all day long. I definitely feel like for me, by the end of the day, I can see that my brows are like drooping a little bit, and you can kind of just see, right, like as I'm trying to brush up this side, I'm not truly getting like an actual lamination effect. This is just something that I think can kind of keep your brows up for about like 4 hours, and then by the end of the day your brows are like merp. Here is a product from Patrick Ta that I actually think is totally 1000% worth it, and so this is the Major Dimension 2 eyeshadow palette. I freaking love this eyeshadow palette. I think this is one of the most beautiful, glitzy, glamoury, pink eyeshadow palettes out there. Obviously he has Major Dimension 1, which is going to be more of those bronze tones, and then he did also come out with Major Dimension 3, which is both warm and cool tones, but like all mattes, and so that's also a product that like I could be interested in getting. Now I'm going to go ahead and use that cream that comes in the eyeshadow palette to just start as a base. This works really well as an eyeshadow primer, but you can also use this as just like a one and done eyeshadow as well if you would like. For me, I like to layer a little bit more on top, but again, works really well as a nice base. Now, my favorite thing about this palette is how easy it is to work with the matte shades. If you are looking for a matte shade that blends out like a dream, the Patrick Ta mattes are awesome for that. It's super easy to create a look that is very like it's easy, it's flawless, it's like something that's not gonna stress you out or anything like that, but it's gonna look like high glam. This is a great eyeshadow palette for that. The one thing I would say, and I might have to do more with like the color scheme that I have, obviously, like pinks do tend to be a little bit more dramatic than like your bronzy tones. I would consider bronzy tones to be a little bit more like everyday, if that makes sense. Now, okay, that's not entirely true because I love wearing pink on a regular basis, but like it is a little more like glammed, you know what I mean? So like if you're someone who's looking for an eyeshadow palette that's going to be wearable for every day, I would go with Major Dimension 1 over 2. But honestly, if you're a lover of pink tones like me, like 2 is beautiful too. Like look at how easy it is for me to blend this pink shade into my crease. Now what I will say about Patrick Ta's glittery shimmery shades is that these formulas do tend to be a little bit more on the chunky side. So that's what I mean like when I say like this eyeshadow palette is really for more of like the glam days. You can use some of the softer colors to keep it a little more like daytime, a little bit more like regular everyday wear if that's what you're looking for, but I do tend to find myself reaching for this palette when I want like intense like glammy glam looks, like if I'm going to a wedding or something like that. And I do like to apply the glitter shades with my finger. I just think that they work the best that way. I never seem to get the same payoff on a brush than when I'm using my fingers. I'm using a really, really light dabbing motion to get this to be kind of like a very faint color, and to me this is like more wearable, but if you want to build this up you certainly can as well. Fallout does also tend to kind of be a thing with the eyeshadow palette, so just be aware of that as well. I tend to not do my concealer until after I'm done with my eyes, just so that if I need to wipe away some of that glitter, I definitely can. Now let's move on to his eyeliners. Oof, if there's one thing or one item in Patrick Ta's line that like I just can't, I'm not on board with, it's his eyeliners. So I actually have 3 different shades of this. This is their Precision Gel eyeliner. I have this in Rich Brown, Burgundy, and Deep Bronze. Let me go ahead and swatch this for you and show you what the problem is with these. These are like the driest gel eyeliners I have ever met in my entire life. I do not understand how these dry out so quickly. You can literally see like in this swatch here, like that color is beautiful, but it definitely feels like really, really chalky. And when you're dragging it on your hand, you get that intense like drag on your eye. And like, I'll be honest with you guys, I am not one of those people where I'm like, oh, I need, you know, my eyeliners to be like super slippy or anything like that. Like I can appreciate a good eyeliner that's a little bit on the drier side because that means it's going to stay on your eye a little bit longer, but not when it's as dry as this, to the point where I've literally actually broken off a chunk of the eyeliner when I was drawing it on my eye because these dried out so bad. The matte shades are a lot drier than the shimmer shade, so if you actually wanted to try these out, even though I'm not giving them a very good review right now, if you wanted to try this out, I would highly recommend going for like deep bronze versus like the rich brown shade, which I accidentally swatched twice because I was just thinking about how much I don't like these. I would recommend definitely going with the shimmer shade because I think that one is just a softer formula. It's not going to turn into like this crusty mess that the matte formulas are. So I'm going to apply the shimmer shade because I don't feel like creating additional wrinkles on my eyelids. Aging already does that for me, okay? I don't need anyone to help speed up that process. They do stay a decent amount of time on your eyes. I don't think that that's the problem. But for me, again, I don't like how dry these are. So yes, you can see this one performs really well. The matte shades though, you guys, like, my God, it is like dragging sandpaper across your eyelids. It does not make for a good experience. To warm up my face, I do have the Creme Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I have this in 2 different shades. So you can see the She's Sculpted. This one, you can see how that base is going to be a little bit more cool tone, so it creates shadows. And then the She's Bronzed, you can tell, has a lot of that warmth, a lot of that red tone more built into it. So again, that's going to give you something that's a little bit more on the warmer side. So I actually really like these products. I will say I have the same issue with the cream as I do with like the face cream, like the foundation, where I don't think the lasting power of this product is like the best. So I tend to need to set these down with a powder bronzer. But what you can see about these is the way that it glides onto the face is, it is literally, again, foolproof. Like you can see how easy it was to lay down that shade. It's going to be really easy to blend it out, literally no fuss at all. You can work in stages with this product, and so I really really like this. I'm gonna go ahead and take that brush that I used for my foundation to just lightly tap this in. And again, you guys can see like how fast this blends into your face is really, really quite incredible. Like this is just one of those products where it's like easy peasy. Now, the one thing I'm gonna say about his cream products is that if you are an oily girl, the cream products are not gonna stay on their own on your face. So you are gonna wanna set that down with a powder. Luckily, of course, Patrick Ta with his genius like cream and powder duo, you have both of these products. I actually think that the powder bronzer lasts a really, really long time on your face, including the powder blush, which we will talk about as well. I just think that this is a great system in which you have the cream to kind of lay down that subtle amount of color first. And if you want to stop there, if you're someone who has more of like dry skin and so cream products stay really well on your face, like you can stop there. If you're someone that wants to amp it up with the powder, you certainly can as well, which is obviously more of the category that I fall into. And again, my favorite thing about the powder product is that it is super easy to blend onto your skin. This is not one of those products where you're gonna put it on and then you're like, oh my God, there's like a pocket of just color sitting on my face. I like have to work really hard to blend it out. This is definitely not one of those products. It's very, very silky smooth. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the blush. I actually have two as well. I have She's Blushing and She's So LA. I love both of these so much. You can tell obviously that they both also have like the cream formula and then the powder formula that you can lay either on top. So what I like about Patrick Ta as well is that you do have the ability to actually put down the powder blush first and then use a beauty sponge to put the cream product on top to give yourself a little bit more of that luminosity back if that's what you're looking for. I'll be totally honest with you guys, like that is not how I tend to apply my blushes. Like I need things to be a little bit more on the mattifying side. I need my makeup to set down. And so I tend to not really do that, but it is really nice that you do have options with the way that he's formulated his products. So I'm just gonna sweep this on to my cheeks in an upwards motion. And again, actually the thing about his blushes, I would say they're a lot more pigmented than the bronzers. So you do have to go a little bit more light-handed on this. But you can even see with the powder blush, which is all that I'm using right now, it does have a certain amount of luminosity in it. So what I like about his powder blushes is that it's not gonna be like a flat matte blush. It's still gonna give you a lot of life to your skin instead of just looking like it's just like, oh, you've got like a red spot on your face that's kind of like dull. It's not going to be like that at all. It still has a beautiful, beautiful sheen to it. And then again, if you want to amp it up with the cream, you certainly can as well. I also really like the brand new highlighters that he came out with as well. So I actually did a full review on these highlights, and so I'll leave that in the description box as well if you want to go and watch an in-depth analysis of all of these. But these highlights are beautiful too. What I really like about his highlight is that these are not going to be like really intense glittery highlights that have like huge chunks in them. This is going to give you what I think is a very, very lifelike sheen to your skin. So it doesn't necessarily look like you're wearing highlight. Like it's just a little bit more of like, ooh, that's like a really expensive glow. Like it's gonna look just phenomenal on your face. I'm gonna take the shade Sugar. As you can tell by how much I've used this, like you can barely even see the embossing on this anymore. I love this highlight. This is definitely one that I feel like can be built up over time as well. But this is definitely something that like when I just want to look like I've well hydrated and absolutely like just got gorgeous skin, this is what I will use. Okay, let's go ahead and finish off our eyes. We are going to be using the Major Volume Mascara. I don't really like this mascara. Okay, so this is definitely what I would consider more of like a wet formula. It's your perfect typical mascara wand that's gonna be able to get in there and like really coat every single one of your lashes. However, the problem with this mascara is that it does tend to be a little bit more on the wet side. So you will find that your lashes do tend to clump together, which you can actually see is happening right now. I do have some issues with this one in terms of the way that it wears throughout the day. I don't think that this is the most long wear mascara either. I think because it is so liquidy, it does tend to like, if you are someone who sweats regularly or you want to wear this while you're working out, I wouldn't expect it to stay on as well as some of the other mascaras out there on the market. This is something that may transfer a little bit to your under eyes. Let's talk about lips, because this is also where Patrick Ta shines. So this is the Precision Lip Crayon, and I have this in the shade She's Proud. First of all, I I really like that it's kind of a little bit of a different design. It's not a twisty, so it's more of a click on the end to get the product to come out. And this is like a beautiful nude lip liner that lasts a decent amount, mixes well with all sorts of formulas. You can wear this with a gloss, with other lipsticks, with more of a glossy lip gloss or a glossy lipstick, anything like that. This product works really, really well with all of them. I'm actually not going to apply this lip liner and talk at the same time because I haven't actually figured out how to do that with like the bevel tip. Like this is obviously a little bit different than some of the other lip liners out there, right? Like it doesn't come to a point. It's more of like, yeah. So let's go ahead and apply this together. So what I really like about this lip liner is the fact that like you can use each of the edges to really carve out your lips very, very quickly. And you can flip the lip liner around to match the line that you're trying to do. What I also really like about this is how easy it is to fill in your lips. So a lot of the time, right, and like you can see when I'm applying it, is that you can literally take the lip liner, flip it on its side, and then just fill in your lips with a very, very quick motion, and you're literally done and out the door. So this is definitely a lip liner that I would say from a speed perspective is great. Maybe not so much from a precision perspective, but awesome if you're just trying to get a lip liner on and out the door. The lipstick that we have is in the shade Oh She's Single, which I think is a beautiful peachy matte. This is something that I think is absolutely lovely. If you're looking for something that's going to be more of that warm tone, that's going to go and give you like a very spring-like look, a very summery lip, like this is absolutely perfect for that. What I like about this lipstick as well is how it's not like necessarily a flat matte either. So this is definitely something that like, yeah, the color is going to stay on for quite a while, but it's going to be more of that shade that's going to just kind of fill in the lines on your lips without making anything look like overly dead and old, if that makes sense. So he has two different options in terms of like lip glosses. So one of them is the Major Volume Pumping Gloss, and I have this in the shade Superficial. The other one is the Lip Shine, and this is in She's an Influencer. I like both of these products, but they are going to be a little bit different in what they do. Obviously, the Plumping Lip Gloss is going to be something that's going to give your lips a little bit of a burn. One of the things I want to talk about this is that I love the doe foot applicator because it actually has this little pocket in there. There's like a little indent that really holds on to the gloss so that you can actually apply the perfect amount to your lips. The other thing though, and this is the part that's like, people are going to be like, are you sure you like this? It kind of has like a cinnamony scent to it. It like just reminds me of like, I don't know, you know that candy, like what is it called? Like Red Hots? Oh, can't stand the scent of Red Hots. Like it's absolutely the worst, but I really love churros. So to me, this tends to be a little bit more on like a Christmassy type churro scent versus like that fake ass like cinnamon scent like a Red Hot. But if you are in general just really like sensitive to the cinnamon scent, maybe go test this out in store first and give it a smell before you buy it, because it could go either way for you. Now, if you don't like anything with a cinnamon scent and you still want something that's going to give you a gorgeous shine to your lips that is from the Patrick Ta line, please go check out the Lip Shine. I love this lip gloss so, so much. I put this over lipsticks, over lip liners on its own. Sometimes I'll just bring this in my purse and just wear this on its own. Like, tell me that that is not the most beautiful shine ever. It's a flexible lip gloss. It's very, very easy to wear on the lips. Definitely feels like it's nourishing your lips the whole time as well. So in general, really, really love this. And I love, love the packaging of both of these lip glosses. I just think they're so beautiful. And I love the like, how it's all like angular and not just a circle. Like it's really delightful. And that, my friends, is the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this What's Good series of the Patrick Ta beauty line. For the most part, there are some wins, some losses in this line. Would highly recommend checking out the wins that I talked about in this video. If you like this video, please feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel. If you haven't already, please feel free to follow us over on Instagram as well. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.